acting being a very childlike process, and it seems to be something that's very natural with children and not natural with adults, probably because there's been so many inhibitions stacked onto adults as they grow up that they lose the ability. And of course, the main thing one has to do is strip the layers of inhibitions back off so that you can approach things with that same sort of childlike imagination. I think probably during the Rawhide years of doing 7.5 years of a series day in, day out, I think that probably had a good influence as far as being really comfortable, because it's 6 days a week every week. You shot Monday through Saturday, you have Sunday off, and you start a new episode.
Chair's called a guitar. I guess you wouldn't mind if we exercised a little bit. Kind of start strumming back and forth like this and get a sound out of it. I'll show you.
Riding hard, riding fast, always on the go. This is just a drover's life, this is all I know. Head 'em up, move 'em out, always on the run. Got to make a few more miles before the setting sun.
At the time you were doing Rawhide, you got this offer from Sergio Leone to make what ended up as A Fistful of Dollars in Spain. A lot of American actors had gone to Europe and had sort of disappeared. I mean, their careers had just vanished off the face of the earth through following that European route. I mean, at the time you agreed to do the movie, did it seem like a risk?
No, it didn't seem like a risk, because I liked very much the story that it was taken from. I had seen the Kurosawa film Yojimbo some years before that, and I liked it very much. In fact, as I was watching it, I thought, gee, it's like a Western, but nobody would have nerve enough to make it. Then when it came through as a script from a European director, I felt, well, maybe a European director would have nerve enough to approach it with a certain amount of style, and I didn't see any risks, because if I still had to go back and do more segments of Rawhide for another year. If it for some reason didn't work out, I just got a trip to Europe.
Go get your mule. You let him get away from you?
You see, that's what I want to talk to you about. He's feeling real bad.
Huh?
My mule. You see, he got all riled up when you men fired those shots at his feet.
Hey, you making some kind of joke?
No. You see, I understand you men were just playing around, but the mule, he just doesn't get it.
There were a lot of Italian-made Westerns that were being shown throughout the world, but none of them had shown here in England or in the United States or the English-speaking population. In Japan, they were running them over there, and the Japanese are the ones who dubbed them Macaroni Westerns, is what they called them. And then later it was, it came around as spaghetti. But the pasta, one way or the other, any way you look at it.
The character from the Leone films seems to have a lot of the elements that you've used that have, remained part of your persona.
Well, it's the same actor standing there. I have, for instance, I probably am somewhat laconic as a person, so that those elements that came with that character are going to come with other characters that I play too along the line. You can play certain things and adapt them to yourself, but your basic characteristics you can only change so far, and then becomes a problem after that.
He's an all-night disc jockey. What does this request really mean?
Play Misty for me.
For Clint Eastwood, an invitation to terror.
Nobody asked you to wait for it.
You're not jumping me, Buster Blue Eyes!
Get off my back, Evelyn.
Have to get you all nice for David. I hope he likes what he sees when he walks in here. Because that's what he's taking to hell with him.
I think it's interesting that in the first film you chose to direct, you give the woman the better role. I mean, in a sense, I think the character played by Jessica Walters probably one of the best opponents you've ever had in a movie. I mean, at the time, did you feel that? Were you quite happy to?
Yes, I knew that. In fact, one of the studio execs asked me, he said, why would you want to play a picture where the woman has the best role? And I said, I don't care who has the best role. He said other things too, like why would you want to play a disc jockey? And who would want to see you play a disc jockey? And I said, who wants to see you play anything? I don't know. I just think that the story is of such that it may be a little unusual. And I like the woman having the strong role. It gives you something to play off of. If there was two women's parts and the man weaving his way through the situation, and the psychotic woman is much more terrifying to me than a psychotic man in a way, because there's they're hidden under a very beautiful shell is something very disturbing. Where a psychotic male opponent, you start thinking, well, there's a fencing deal and two masculine figures, but a woman can be much more deadly, I think, can present a much more deadly figure dramatically.
Alive or dead, it's your choice. Let Red go.
I met Muhammad Ali on a television program years ago in the States when he was at his prime. He was the champion, and we were going to go on this talk show, and he said, we were backstage, and he said, would you come here a minute? Come here, I want to talk to you. And he made his entourage, everybody else got to one side, come here. We walked down through this hallway and back around the corner, nobody else was there. He says, would you do me a favor? I said, what's that? And he said, would you give me that look that you give on the screen and tell me I've got 10 minutes to get out of town. And being as he was the heavyweight champion of the world, I just told him I didn't have a gun on me at the time.